Before the picture of the baby, she sent me that just to be like, hey, look at me. She's beautiful. I mean, I saw it and I thought, damn, she still looks good. Like.
But whenever you put out text messages between you and I that I think are sacred, that should, in my opinion, be sacred between.
Gypsy Rose just got exposed for cheating on Ken Urker, and this is bad, really bad. The internet is in complete shock right now after leaked messages and photos started circulating that allegedly showed Gypsy secretly talking to her ex-husband, Ryan Anderson, behind Ken's back. And these aren't just harmless messages. These are glam selfies, baby photos, and intimate exchanges that no one expected to see. The whole situation has people asking if Gypsy just destroyed her own relationship barely months after giving birth. But before we dive deep into this chaos, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe, because what's happening behind the scenes here is messier than anyone realized, and it's unraveling fast.
But I know I just want the best for you. I want you to be happy. I want you to move on. I want you to move on with someone that's gonna make you happy, that's gonna love you like you should be loved. And I'm just tired of this war, and I want it to end.
Before the picture of the baby, she sent me that just to be like, hey, look at me. She's beautiful. I mean, I saw it and I thought, damn, she still looks good like she does, you know? But then I saw the baby, she sent me a picture of the baby, and look how it's sprawled out, and it's starting to get more features, and like this picture, I was kind of like, might be, you know, like I thought maybe.
It all started with whispers online claiming Gypsy and Ken were having problems, but those whispers turned into wildfire when screenshots began spreading across Facebook groups and Reddit threads showing Gypsy allegedly sending late-night messages to Ryan. At first, people assumed it was clickbait gossip until one of the screenshots included a photo of her baby, Aurora. That's when everything exploded. Fans began comparing timelines, pulling up live streams, and digging through old interviews, realizing that maybe this wasn't just speculation anymore. It looked like Gypsy had been playing a very dangerous game, and she just got caught. Then Ryan himself came forward with his side of the story, and that's when things really got out of control. He reportedly told people that Gypsy reached out to him first, not the other way around. Before the baby photos, she supposedly sent him glam selfies just to show how good she looked now. And according to him,
Called the hospital. It's the Louisiana law that whatever marriage you were in, whatever last name was your legal last name at that time, is what the baby's gonna be born with. So it's gonna be an Anderson until the paternity test, and then we'll get it changed. Can't put Blanchard.
Well, that sucks.
that was her way of reopening the door. But the part that sent fans over the edge is what came next. Ryan claims she messaged him again, saying she wanted to prove that he wasn't the baby's father, and sent him photos of Aurora as proof. Like, what even is that logic? Who sends their ex photos of their newborn baby to make a point, especially when they're supposed to be building a new life with someone else? People immediately started calling it emotional cheating, saying Gypsy was once again crossing boundaries and risking everything for attention. And when fans noticed she suddenly deleted several social posts around that same time, it only fueled the rumors more. They said it looked like she was trying to clean up her digital tracks before the receipts went public, but by then, screenshots were already being shared everywhere. To make things even worse, Gypsy ended up confirming part of the story herself without realizing it. In one episode of Life After Lockup, she casually mentioned that her baby legally carries the last name Anderson because she was still married to Ryan under Louisiana state law when she gave birth. That single revelation sent the internet into a spiral. People started asking how someone could be in a brand new relationship, having a baby with a new man, while still technically carrying her ex-husband's last name and secretly messaging that same ex.
I look at things in hindsight, and I realized that there were other options besides, but I was so sheltered that I couldn't see them at the time.
It was Gypsy's divorce. Yeah, I was surprised that Ryan didn't want to meet with Gypsy. I really was surprised. I thought for sure he was gonna
The irony was too much for the internet to handle. It wasn't just about legal paperwork anymore, it felt symbolic, like she could never fully let go of her past. And fans couldn't help noticing how often her stories seemed to overlap between her current and former partners, creating this strange cycle she never seems to break. Then came the messages that changed everything. In one of the leaked conversations, Ryan supposedly told Gypsy, "Baby, you can go do that. Just get the money off first so you don't lose it." To which she allegedly replied, "It seems like that's all you care about." After that, he switches tone, completely apologizing, asking if she's thinking about leaving Ken, and even suggesting they meet for coffee. And instead of shutting him down, Gypsy allegedly entertained it. She reportedly said the DNA test wasn't adding up and admitted Ken checks her phone, then asked Ryan not to message her on social media anymore. Ryan allegedly told her to make up a fake number and say it was her old cellmate texting her. That's when people online completely lost it. Like, are we serious right now? Gypsy is a woman on parole who has already been warned about her online activity.
Curious.
So I knew that, inevitably we'd have to deal with a caseworker. And so she came over, she interviewed us separately, toured our house, took pictures of everything, made sure, and I'm trying to watch my verbiage on this because I know there are a lot of things you can say to get banned.
And now she's sneaking around with fake numbers to text her ex? It was like watching someone willingly walk into another PR disaster. Things took another turn when Ken and Gypsy went live together on social media a few weeks later. At first, it seemed normal they were laughing, interacting with fans, and showing their new life as parents. But halfway through the stream, viewers noticed Gypsy slurring her words, saying she'd reached her limit, but kept drinking anyway. Ken's face said it all. You could see the tension, the disappointment, and the exhaustion. He eventually ended the stream abruptly, muttering that he was glad that was caught on tape. A week later, Ken revealed that Child Protective Services actually showed up at their house for a check-in, though he wasn't sure if it was random or if someone called after seeing the live. They ended up passing the inspection, but fans were already connecting the dots. Between the leaked messages, the drinking, and now CPS involvement, it was starting to look like their relationship was barely hanging on. And the timing couldn't have been worse, because right around that same period, Gypsy gave an interview saying she wanted to give her daughter Aurora a baby brother someday. The internet dragged her instantly. People said it was tone-deaf to talk about expanding her family when her current situation looked like it was falling apart. Maybe focus on fixing what you have before bringing another baby into it, one comment said, and that sentiment was echoed across thousands of replies. The public opinion had turned fast. What once was a redemption story about a woman getting a second chance at life was now starting to feel like another chaotic cycle of bad choices and public drama. And honestly, when you step back and look at the bigger picture, it's kind of heartbreaking. Gypsy spent nearly her entire life being controlled and manipulated by her mother, Dee Dee Blanchard, who suffered from Munchausen syndrome by proxy. Dee Dee made Gypsy believe she was terminally ill, forced her to use a wheelchair, shaved her head, and lied to everyone for years to collect sympathy and donations. Gypsy grew up isolated, sheltered, and desperate for love, so when she finally got out, she went searching for it in the only way she knew how: fast, impulsive, and all-consuming. But the problem is, she never gave herself time to actually heal from the trauma that shaped her. So now, every relationship seems to follow the same pattern: the rush of attention, the whirlwind romance, the fallout, and the inevitable explosion when things get too real. Fans have noticed that pattern too. After divorcing Ryan Anderson in December 2024, barely 8 months after filing, she jumped right back into a relationship with Ken Urker, her old fiancé from before prison. And for a while, it looked like her happy ending. They did interviews, photo shoots, and public appearances, showing off their new baby and talking about a bright future. But slowly, the cracks started to show. Every few weeks, a new rumor surfaced: Gypsy shading Ken online, Ken deleting photos, Gypsy deactivating social media. It was always something. And now, this cheating scandal might just be the breaking point. Ken hasn't said a word publicly yet, but his silence is almost louder than any statement could be. Fans think he's done. He's been posting cryptic messages about trust and starting fresh, while Gypsy's socials have gone quiet again. It feels like she's bracing for impact, waiting to see how bad this will get. People online are already predicting that she'll spin this into another media story, a tell-all, a docuseries, maybe even another book. Because if there's one thing Gypsy knows how to do, it's turn real-life chaos into public attention. But this time, the sympathy isn't there. people are tired. They're realizing that this isn't the story of a victim trying to rebuild, it's someone stuck in the same patterns that got her in trouble in the first place. One comment summed it up perfectly. No one can fulfill everything she wants. She needs constant validation, and when that fades, she creates chaos to get it back. Another said, she's keeping Ryan around as a backup, just in case Ken leaves. And the wildest part? A growing number of fans who once defended her are now siding with Ryan, the same man they once called manipulative. That's how much the narrative has flipped. Everyone's wondering if Ken will finally walk away for good, or if Gypsy will pull him back in with another emotional apology. But at this point, even her supporters are starting to admit it's getting hard to root for her when she keeps lighting the same fire over and over again. And maybe that's the real tragedy here. Gypsy Rose had the world's sympathy. She had a platform, a family, and a second chance most people never get. But she's proving that you can escape a cage without ever learning how to live free. If these messages are real, and if this cheating rumor turns out to be true, this won't just be another breakup, it'll be the moment the public finally stops believing the redemption arc. Because this time, there's no villain to blame, no controlling mother, no abusive system, just Gypsy and her own choices. And if Ken really is done with her, this might be the one scandal she can't talk her way out of. One thing's for sure, this story isn't over yet. Not by a long shot.